In today's video, we're gonna do something very special as Christmas is upon us. Pork crown roast. Now this is something that has lost popularity over the years. However, it's still in demand and it will give you the most dramatic presentation on your dinner table. This happens to be a 10 rib roast. It weighs 10 pounds. This will feed 6, maybe 8 to 10 people. We gotta French these bones. And what I mean by French is we're gonna cut down, we're gonna expose the tips of each rib bone, because that'll create that crown visual appearance once we finish this. So there's a little blade bone here that I'm gonna remove. Now, if you look at your loin of pork, you can see a spot. This is your loin, and you can see a spot where it ends. So we're gonna take the knife and basically go straight across and remove that meat fat so that it'll expose the tips of each bone. And then we're gonna go in there and clean up in between each one of those, and we'll create that, what they call Frenched rack. So I'm gonna start over here, find my location right here, and basically just go straight across. Just reach down, we're gonna feel for the bone. So we're gonna remove this slowly, going up against, keeping the knife up against the bone, a little at a time, pulling it. All right, there's meat we want to get rid of. I'm going to trim this down a little bit, just give it a little more shape, so to speak. He did a great job trimming it. Okay, at this point, we're basically gonna go down in between each bone, holding the knife up against the bone. Make sure it's you're scraping it as you're going down. Piece of cake. All right, now we have everything cut away from the bones. I'm just gonna take the knife on a horizontal plane and just go in between, right at the base of where we cut it out, and just go boom, pull it out. Boom, pull it out. Boom, pull it out. Boom, pull it out. And you already can see what we're trying to achieve. Pull it out, pull it out. Okay, it's starting to look like a crown. All we have to do is get it in that circular position, and you can see it come to life as we speak. Now, what I need to do is get this end tied up to keep it secure, and how we're gonna do that is, we've got our butcher's twine. Using a crown roast needle, we're gonna thread the eyelet on the top with the twine. So we're gonna find one of these rib bones here, one that is pretty stable, because sometimes when we get to the end, it's a little floppy, and it's really not gonna provide a good anchor to do our tie. So I'm gonna take the needle, I'm gonna poke it through, bring the other side around, and do the same thing. Come through and look for a bone, the nearest bone there we go. This way I know there's a secure post, so to speak, that it'll be able to form a good secure tie. And I'm gonna just reach through and pull the loose piece. Oops. There's my loose end. Remove it from the needle, and just slide the needle back out. Now we have our twine exactly where we need it, and we're gonna tie this off. Now, as you can see, sometimes these don't always look level. It could be like on an angle a little bit, and that's basically because of the outside loin on one side is thicker than the other. So what we can do, to rectify that and even it off, I'll just go on the bottom and just shave a little bit here, and that'll create a better level crown roast. All right, folks, we have our pork crown roast all put together. Next step we're gonna do is we're gonna make a stuffing for it. It's gonna be a basic bread stuffing, but it's gonna have apple, almonds, and raisins added to it. Now what I have is a couple of diced Granny Smith apple. Just dice it up in 1/4-inch cubes. What I have are slivered almonds, and I'm toasting these first. No oil, just dry, in a skillet on top of the stove. And what the toasting does, it brings out the oils. It's going to increase the flavor and enhance the nuttiness tremendously. Important step. I would definitely do this rather than just dump in raw slivered almonds. Now, you can buy these slivered. They're called slivered almonds. There's also sliced almonds, but look for the slivered. They're little kind of like matchstick types, and we're gonna toast these down. Now also, the ingredients, we're gonna start with a basic mirepoix. We're gonna do onion. We got about a cup and a half of onion, about a cup and a half of carrots, about the same amount of celery. And we're gonna sweat those vegetables out and then add some garlic, about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of garlic. We also have the same amount of fresh chopped parsley and fresh chopped thyme. So we have almonds pretty well nice and toasted. Just want to get a little color on them. Be very careful with this and stay with it. Keep your eye on it because they can really burn quickly. If you're not watching it, it can get away from you. And the next thing you know, you got a pan full of black slivered almonds. All right, so our slivered almonds are nice and toasted off. They're nice and brown, nice and toasty. We're gonna get our pan ready, add some olive oil, bring it to heat, and we're gonna start our vegetables. We'll go with onion first. Like I said, maybe about a cup and a half of onion. And we're gonna sweat these onions out. And we're not gonna need to get color on these vegetables. Just sweat them out till they get nice and soft. Once we get that rolling, we're gonna add our carrots. About a cup and a half of diced carrot, and all of it. We wanna season with salt and pepper. Let those sweat out for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. You want to let this go for a good 2 or 3 minutes before we add the celery. The celery contains a lot of water, so if you add the celery too soon, the water is just going to purge and not really, it'll get in the way of developing your caramelization of the onions and carrots. And add the celery, about the same amount, cup and a half. Add our herbs. We're gonna go with about a 1/4 cup of chopped parsley, as well as a 1/4 cup of chopped fresh thyme. And we're saving the garlic for the end, as always. Save that garlic for the end. You don't wanna put it in too soon because it'll burn and it'll become very bitter when it burns. So all you want to do is get it in your pot, in your pan, and just give it a quick 1 or 2 minutes tops until it becomes fragrant. You'll be able to smell the fragrance coming through. So at this point, I'm going to add the garlic. And that is 1 large clove, probably a tablespoon and a half of chopped fresh garlic. Cook that through only for a minute or 2 at the most. All right, almonds have been fully toasted. I'm gonna add this to the mixture. Give it a good stir. Once we get them all incorporated, hey, we're gonna take it to the bread and finish off our stuffing. At which point we'll add the raisins, we'll add the apples. Now the apples, this is important. The apples I had chopped up ahead of time, and By doing so, you really need to put them in what's called acidulated water. What we did is we chopped up 1 lemon and added the juice of 1 lemon to the water. Because if you don't do that, those apples are going to oxidize. They'll turn brown really, really quickly. So do that and you'll be able to keep your apples set aside till you're ready for them. And we're ready for the next step. All right, folks, we're back and we're going to finish off our apple almond stuffing for our pork crown roast. So like I said, we have our store-bought stuffing mix here. So we're gonna add our vegetables first. Now next, we have our Granny Smith apple. Now I diced this up into about a 1/4 to 1/2 inch dice. You can go a little bit smaller if you want. These are kind of big, but I think they'll be absolutely delicious and it'll create more of a presence in your stuffing. All right, so in with our apples, 1.5 cups of plain raisins. Then we're gonna mix this all up. Combine all the ingredients. The only thing we're gonna need to do is get a little moisture in here to get it to the right consistency. So we're gonna add some chicken stock until we get it to almost like a wet sand type of thing where it's able to clump together and hold its shape. That's about what we're looking for. So you just have to go a little at a time until you finally reach that point. You don't want it to be kind of falling apart and kind of dry like. So we'll add, like I said, about 1/2 cup at a time. Because this is a dry stuffing mix, I'm gonna hold off adding more. I'm gonna let it absorb a little bit because we might end up going too far with the chicken broth without allowing it to absorb. So let's give it a minute to see how it comes out. All right, I think our stuffing is ready. I just want to show you what we're looking for. If you clump it together and it holds its shape just like this, it's exactly what you want. You don't want it to be kind of like dry sand where it's all falling apart. You need a little, almost like wet sand. That's perfect. So we have our crown roast right next to us. We're gonna take our stuffing and begin to do its thing. We'll get it down into the cavity first of all, little by little. And what we're looking for, we want to build the stuffing so it creates a little dome that comes up over the top of the ribs. It'll create a much better presentation. A lot of this stuffing is not going to be down inside the crown roast. Most of it is sitting up on top. This is a relatively small crown roast. 2, 4, 6, 8. We have 10 ribs. I mean, they can go as big as 20 ribs. And you know, it'd be about this big around. It almost looks like a tire, a spare tire. They can get quite big. In that case, you'll have a lot of empty space down in between where a lot of that stuffing can sit down inside. But this is what we're looking for. Pack it in there good. You can see the apples. Man, this looks good to me. I think we'll do one more handful. All right, we have our crown roast. It's all stuffed. It's ready for the oven. Now we want to roast this at 350 degrees. And we want to bring it to an internal temperature of 140 degrees. This is a 10-pound roast, so I estimate 20 minutes to the pound. So we're looking at about a 2-hour cook time, 2.5 hours. I would stop probing it about at the 2-hour mark just to make sure it's not going faster than anticipated. But roughly speaking, it's going to be about 20 minutes to a pound. So we're looking at a maximum 2.5 hour cook time. But please use a meat thermometer. It's absolutely critical. The only way to ensure a degree of doneness that you're looking for is with a meat thermometer. Timing it, you're just playing Russian roulette with that. You're not really sure what the finished doneness is gonna be. So it's ready for the oven. A plain old cookie sheet is fine. You can use a rack or you can just keep it set down in the pan. But at this point, very simple. Just get it into a 350 degree oven. All right, folks, our pork crown roast has been in the oven for 2 hours now, and we brought it to 140 degrees, which was our target temp. We're going to remove it. All right, folks, our crown roast is ready for service, but before we do that, we're gonna kick up the presentation a little bit. So I call these booties. There are a lot of different names for them, but you can purchase these almost anywhere. You can get them online. But what these are, they're also called chop holders, but we're gonna call them booties. So these basically just attach to just place them right on top of each rib. You can get these in a variety of colors, a variety of material. I've seen them in foil, which give a nice shine. Some are gold, silver, but this is gonna really dramatically increase your presentation as you bring it to the table, and something that'll really wow your guests. It makes quite a statement. One thing left to do, cut into it and give it a taste. Let's see what we have here. All right, I'm gonna go for it right here. Basically, you wanna find each bone, and all you gotta do is slice down right through it. Almost like a cake, like we're cutting a cake. Bring it right to the bottom. Now you can see there's a little pinkness to the meat, which is fine. Pork does not have to be cooked to 165 degrees. 145 is perfectly fine. You want a little bit of moistness to it, so it'll be juicy and succulent. Now there's one thing left to do, and that's serve up some of this delicious stuffing to go with it. I'm gonna dive in and take a bite, and we'll see what we have here. I want this one. Oh my God. I don't think I even need a knife. It is so tender. Very juicy. You can see the shine, the juice is flowing. Oh my God. Wow. That is outstanding. I'm telling you, I surprised myself. And dig right into this stuffing now. Those toasted almonds gives that little crunch that you're looking for. The apples are nice and tart and balances out the savoriness. And the raisins give you a little bit of sweetness. So you get the whole thing going on there. This is outstanding. Do yourself a favor, go see your butcher, order yourself a crown roast for Christmas. And it's quite easy to do, very simple. This is Tommy the Butcher. I hope you're gonna like this. And like I said, do yourself a favor, go get one.